there. So this is Crystal Summer Bear Jones with Wedding Secrets and Heirloom Photography. I got engaged last March and I got married last August. Yes, you heard that right. That was a 5-month long engagement. To be fair, we did know we were going to get married before then, and we had chosen a date in February, but he hadn't officially proposed to me in March, until March, the very beginning of March. And I am a wedding pro. I have been a wedding photographer since 2015, and I was sure I could do this no problem in 5 months. I was wrong. I did actually pull it off, and everybody said it was the most amazing wedding they'd ever been to. But as a perfectionist, a little bit of a perfectionist myself, I was disappointed at some of the things that occurred, or I should say didn't occur, that my pros that I hired did not do. And I was fairly upset after my wedding. And it took me a long time to actually process through it. And then when I got my wedding photos back, I was just so devastated because there was so much that I just could not believe he delivered the gallery that he delivered with my family members' eyes closed, like in the, formal shots after the wedding. Yeah, when you only have one photo with you and your parents and both your parents' eyes are closed, a professional photographer who's been in the business for more than a decade and has photographed more than 300 weddings should know better than to deliver something like that. However, he did. And maybe because he knew I could fix it. However, I did invest between photo and video. I invested about $10,000, and that is not even close to the luxury rate, to be honest. I know photographers who charge upwards of $20,000 just for photography, and they're amazing, and it's full service, and it's incredible. That wasn't in my budget, so I went with somebody that I knew and I trusted, and he was a mentor. But I made mistakes, and I should have asked more questions. And if I could go back, as much as I love the creative side of the photography he did for me, and it was so creative and lovely, what I realized is that what I wanted more was a photojournalistic style of wedding photography. I wanted all those moments captured. And I also painstakingly planned the entire wedding myself, and I DIY'd some of it. Actually, I DIY'd quite a bit of it. And I want to take this time and chat about the wedding process here on this channel. And I will be diving into heirloom photography. I am a portrait photographer. I specialize in photographing women, young girls, teens, and specialties such as equestrian, dancers, things like that. But since the weddings are first and foremost on my mind right now, and just the whole wedding industry and how I view what I do as a photographer and cinematographer a little bit different, I really want to start with that. And so the first 10 episodes of this for sure are all going to be about wedding and how to plan your wedding and things to avoid, secrets that wedding pros maybe don't want you to know, specifically caterers maybe don't want you to know, wedding planners, wedding coordinators, how to choose your venue, how to avoid some of the pitfalls I did. And the thing is, even after the day, people are still talking about how fun my wedding was. And so even though it did not come off perfect, and I mean, as in the wedding coordinator did not put the sand in the glasses, that we had 4 colors of sand, and she literally just put a couple up there with like this much sand in it, and she had to bring up extra sand, and then she tried to blame it on my parents, that they were supposed to walk it up there, which was never discussed. They were never supposed to walk the sand up there. It was always supposed to be on the table, but that's a whole nother story. I learned a lot because having been in the industry for so long, I had made friends, and I knew I wanted to hire this wedding coordinator. And actually, had the person I hired showed up, my wedding would have gone off without a hitch, because my wedding coordinator is absolutely fantastic. However, she unfortunately couldn't make it, so she sent somebody that she trusted, and that person she trusted basically decided to just let all the balls drop. The only thing that was done appropriately on the day of the wedding, well, the only thing that was done right was everything that I had done the night before. And I do mean like even the the painstakingly hours and hours I spent putting together the seating chart and how it was to be laid out was I had amazing color coordination because my theme was Milky Way galaxy. So I had basically the dark rainbow, and each table had a theme, and that was very detailedly laid out, very clean as can be. She understood it completely, or I thought she did because she said she did. And the day of, she messed it up. However, luckily it still looked amazing, and nobody really noticed other than my parents, who noticed that they weren't sitting next to each other at the table. So there's things like that, but there were some things that were happy accidents. That the teenagers ended up being at a table on the other side of the seating area and away from their parents, and they were ecstatic, and so were the parents. So things work out. And the DJ was amazing. I threw things at him last minute, and he was able. I would highly recommend him if you want a good recommendation DJ and MC. I will talk about how to find a good DJ/MC and how important it is to have a good DJ/MC, because if you don't, it will make or break your wedding. So we're going to break all this down because I could sit here talking to you for hours about all the crux of the wedding. And as you can see, I am pretty informal. And that's why a lot of people love me, is because I am not a very stiff type of photographer. And it's not about my art. It's about you, and it's about how you feel on your wedding day and how you feel when you look at your photos after you get them back, at your video. My videographer, bless his heart, he was incredible. Like, the raw footage was incredible. His editing needs some work, but the raw footage was fantastic. So, and really, if I have what I need, the raw part, the editing is not, I mean, I can fix that, right? But a normal person who does not have that skill set can't. And so that's another thing we're going to be talking about, how to choose a videographer and why videography is actually so important. And the people who don't get videography do tend to regret it. And it's a great safeguard too, because my photographer missed quite a few shots that were important to me that I didn't even realize I had to communicate to him, because it was so part of my own wheelhouse of including these specific shots that I didn't think I had to tell the photographer, hey, make sure you get me and the entire wedding party at front where I can see everyone, but close enough where they're in focus. And the only shot I got was, I mean, there's some, actually, I didn't get photos of all my bridesmaids standing up the altar at all. The only one was really far away and you can't really see them, but the videographer got it. So it's good. I can pull photo from the video footage. And so there's a lot of things like that to chat about. And it can be a little scary and daunting. But that's why I'm here. I want to break it down for you so that you don't have to kind of go through what I did. And for some of you, I have a lot of portrait clients who were literally the type of brides who they're like, I don't care. I just want to show up and have fun. And if that's you, that is awesome. You will have very little stress. I don't want to say no stress, but you have very little stress on your wedding day, and you are going to have a blast, and it's going to be so much fun. And I promise you, it's just going to be fabulous because you're not stressing about the little things. If you're like me, and I do tend to attract brides and portrait clients that are like me, you like the attention, the detail. You want it to look a beautiful way. You want it to go a certain way. And you might be a little upset that it didn't, but the day of the wedding, I had a fantastic time. And there was a couple things that when I think back, like my heart sunk, which was one thing is one of the beautiful portraits that I had printed up, was supposed to be at the gate when the guests arrive, and it was still in the package when I was going down the aisle. She did end up putting it out later on so people got to see them, but I remember that moment when I saw it, about ready to walk down the aisle, and my heart kind of sank. And then finding out later that there was no pen for the $200 custom guest glass thing, which I will show you in a different episode. It's buried right now. I haven't even gotten it out to display it yet, because actually not very many people were able to sign it because the wedding planner didn't mention to us that she couldn't find the gel pens that went with it. She just didn't bother. So yeah, There's a lot of things that I'm going to talk about, and sometimes I get a little scatterbrained, but I'm going to try to keep these things fairly short because we don't have a lot of time, right? We maybe have 20 minutes. I love episodes where I can watch things for about 20 minutes and move on, because if I'm sitting there watching it for 30, 40, 45 minutes, I'm never going to get through it. But for those, I will be bringing in professionals. So I'm going to be bringing in professional planners and DJs on Zoom calls. And those will probably be a little bit longer because I want them to share from their side of things what they think you should look for, or important things or stories that they've experienced throughout the day. Because DJs do a lot more weddings a year than wedding photographers, generally speaking. And florists do hundreds of weddings often a year. And so it's a little bit different. Photographers, depending on how many they want to do, they may only do 10 to 15 weddings a year, which is what I do. I only do 10 to 15 weddings a year. And that's because I want to invest my time in each couple. A couple is not a checkbook. They are a relationship. They are important. And so I want to be able to take my time with each couple and not just be like, okay, well, we did the engagement session and I'm not going to talk to you until the wedding day or the wedding month or whatever. I want to develop a relationship with my couple. And so for me, it's important to limit how many weddings I do. So that's just a quick introduction about what I'm going to be chatting about. And then, of course, after I get in a little bit into the more weddings and people can have a chance to go back and watch the wedding videos, I will be diving a little bit into the portrait side of my business because it's different than my wedding side. However, there's one thing I keep the same, and that it's very high touch point, very custom, and it's about how you feel when you look at those images. So that for me is super important, and I can't wait to dive in. And you know what, if I carry on too much or you get lost, please feel free to drop it in the comments. Some of this is going to be therapeutic for my own wedding, is having gone through what I went through. I had to kind of release my need for it to have been gone perfectly, because when I would talk about it with people, the only thing they would say is, oh my gosh, your wedding was so beautiful. It was so much fun. And if that's all my guests think of when they think back on my wedding, you know, that makes me really happy. And that means that all the work and time I put into it is great. And there's some embarrassing things where I'm like, oh man, I can't believe I did that myself. I should have used a printer. I should have not. Yes, I am not a calligrapher. And I tried my hand at it and it wasn't great. So there's a few embarrassing things I'm going to be showing as well, because yes, I kept everything from my wedding. I actually even used some of the stuff for my wedding for now my portrait clients, which is really great. And I still have my wedding dress, which still needs to be cleaned, and I will bring that out at some point in time. I might even put it on for you at some point in time, although that probably will be a short, not a full video. Anyway, I hope to get to know you guys more. And if there's specific questions, please feel free to leave it in the comments below. I'm going to be on YouTube, but I'm also going to be on Rumble, because Rumble is an amazing site and they prioritize video podcasts more than YouTube does. And so I will be on Rumble as well. And if you want to join me over there, I will be setting up that soon. I'm getting YouTube up first, but Rumble's right behind. And I also will be posting these on Pinterest as well. So hopefully we can get more viewers, because for me, it's about helping as many couples as I can. And just talking about my expertise and such. And yeah, it's going to be interesting and fun, and a little bit, I'll be a bit vulnerable as I'm being right now. And yeah, it's going to be fun. I'll also be sharing some of my actual couples. That's going to be a lot of fun as well. So I will see you soon. Until the next video. Bye-bye.